Yeah, YouTube, welcome back to my channel. So today I've got this very big black pine that we're going to do the bud selection, needle plucking on, and then I'm going to make sure this is a great chance also to rewire, reposition things, move them around and do some work on styling as well. So going to be a big job, big tree, it'll take me a while. I'll start the bud selection, needle plucking and work our way down. Just remember and a reminder how bud selection works. So after, in summer, in December, I decandled, I cut all the candles off this tree. And at that point, there's now multiple new buds forming, or have formed. Now I'm going to go through and pick out two. At that cut site, there's probably 3, 4, 5. Like I said, on this one, it's much stronger, much healthier than some of my other trees that I've shown videos on. So I'm going to go through that and just go back to 2 on all of them. Try and pick, because this tree's starting to get more advanced, I'm trying to pick the 2, maybe if there's, let's say 4 and there's 2 really strong ones and 2 small, like medium ones, I'll pick the 2 medium ones because I want smaller buds. Try and push the tree in more. So really I'm just going to go through this tree and work my way through it, bud select it, needle pluck it, and then wire it, rewire a lot of the branch. Well, we'll see what needs rewiring, because I can see in some areas the wire starting to cut in as well. So looking at rewiring this tree, bending things down, spreading the pads out. So it's going to be quite a bit of work. Probably take me most of the day as well. But let's see how we turn out. Let's see what the tree turns out to be. So I'll just do the bud selection, needle plucking, and maybe I'll do a little, a quick video, like what do you call it? Speed run, whatever they call it. Anyway. You'll see what I mean. And let's see what happens. I mean, the tree's looking really strong. The bark's really starting to crack up nicely. It's a nice tall black pine. Looks good. But yeah, lots of work to do. All right. Alright, the first step's done, and I have bud selected everything and did as much needle plucking as I can. You probably see the trees kind of almost the same all the way around in terms of density of needles. So not looking too bad. I think getting the density is kind of what you want to try and get to. Top is stronger than the bottom. But I'm hoping in a year or two, another 2 seasons, I reckon, it should be pretty even, and I'll get the same kind of bud sizes on everything. So the more the buds, the smaller they'll get, and should be more proliferate. But now I've noticed a lot of the wire up here and around some of the branches needs to come off. It's starting to cut in, so I'm going to go and remove that wire, and then I'll look at starting to redesign the tree, or not redesign the tree, but tweak the branches and tweak the positioning of the tree. So I might do it in, I might work my way up the tree, as always, from the start. So when I needle plucked and bud selected, I worked the way down because of the mess. So when I got down to here, there were so many needles and buds and everything, such a mess. So now I'm going to go work my way back up when I wire and look at the tree. So I'm going to start the lowest branch, work to the back, to this one, and then work my way up and around the tree and rewire and clean up, take all the other wire off, do a bit more clean up, position the branches better. So it's always a continuous process. So I'll start off, I'll do one branch and I'll come back and show you the result. Okay, just zooming in, quickly showing you that first branch as being fully wide, and I've tried to make it all pretty even in terms of foliage, in terms of needles. So that's the first line. So I'm trying to keep it clean lines underneath as a normal, trying to create different layers wherever I can, and building that up. So now you can see that starting to develop. You know, those two started with ones, now there's twos. There's actually even fours in some areas. So that's starting to go well. So hopefully next year we'll have another two on all that, and we'll keep expanding out and creating more pads and more foliage. So that's number one done. Yeah, I'll move around to the back of the tree and do the back one, and come to the side as well. I have found that there's sometimes three branches in one place. I've had to make decisions around cutting the third one out, and that's pretty much the only things I've been doing. Just rewiring some areas. Some of the main wires stayed on. Some of the fine wires had to be redone. So that's pretty much all. That's that branch done. Alright, so the next step was I wired the back branch. So I've got a branch in here that's coming forward, trying to fill in this gap here, and this branch has moved a little bit this way of filling this gap in here. So that's been all wired out and spaced out to give it, you know, the sun, the most, you know, area to come in and shine on, and hopefully black bud as well, and give as much energy as you can on and fill in this area. So that's all been wired out. So a slow process. So you always start with the first branch, then I've done the back, and now I'll do this important branch. Now one thing I'll have to call out is the problem in this area. I left 3 branches here. I think I left it because if I took one out before, it would have left a huge gap. But now I'll come and show you the problem with doing that. And remember how I said if you leave 3, look at the swelling? See how it's swelled too much? See how it's really starting to get fat here, and it's skinnier than that? So that's a big problem. And I'm thinking I'm going to take that middle one out. Then I'll have to wire these around and try and figure out how to position them the best. But that's the problem when you leave 3 in one area and they start to thicken up too much. So please remember, always try and get rid of them. Get rid of the 3. So I'm making sure this tree doesn't have any more 3 in one spot. Yeah, it's a bit of a mistake on my part, but these things happen, and I think I left it because I was greedy. I wanted to leave more foliage in that area. Okay, so we'll have to redo this area, and I'll come back. But what I want to also do is I'm going to find a branch where I just want to show you how I position all the foliage and how I position the wired up branches. I mean, probably, you know, you can't really tell. Like I'll just come in close so you can see. Probably can see now how it's all nicely spaced out, kind of thing. I try and put the tips up a bit, but not always happens that way. Some bits are hanging down, but we can always fix those. But I'll try and show you how I do that as well. Okay. Okay, so I have what happened in the end. There was 3 branches in that one spot. Actually, I got rid of the one that was coming out this way. It had actually no foliage on the inside of the branch. So I had a look at the smaller one in the middle, and those two kind of blended together the best. Still not the best. Still not 100% happy with this result, but it's a better position and better look for the future. So I've had to do that. And I've eliminated that 3rd one that was coming out of here, which I thought I was going to keep. But having a closer look, I've kept the long one and the small one that sits nicely in there. But yeah, we're going to have to see how we play around with this in the future. We're going to move into this branch in here. Now, this one might be a good one for me to show you close up of how I position the branches. So once I wire this all up, so the first thing I always do is wire the whole branch, and then I position it in place. So this is quite a decent sized branch with lots of foliage. I'm going to probably move it into somewhere around here. It needs a slight tweak, moving around, creating some pads, maybe some layers with this branch. It's quite a good one. I do have I've noticed a few dilemmas up the top. The main issue is I've got multiple branches from one area up the top. Unfortunately, there's not much I can do because if I eliminate them, it removes a huge chunk of the tree. But there possibly is one that I could eliminate. There's one in here that I could eliminate. It hasn't got a huge amount of foliage, but we'll have a look at it. But at the moment, the tree doesn't really show reverse taper too much on the top, so it's not too bad. But it could be in the future. So unfortunately, there's this branch which is a critical branch, and it's got another branch on the same level just towards the back in here with only a couple of branches in there. That gives a bit of depth. But if I eliminate that, I'm going to have to try and bring a lot of these ones around, and I've got the same problem. I prefer to actually leave that maybe. And in here, there's actually 1, 2, 3. There's actually 3 in one spot. And there's a small weak one at the back in here. So possibly taking that small weak one out and start maneuvering some more branches to fill that gap is probably a better option, because there's actually too many in that spot. There's 2 in this spot. I can live with it, but there's 3 in this spot. So maybe that's a decision I'm going to make a bit later as we work up the tree, but possibly getting rid of that one is probably the option. Alright, so I'll wire this out, and then I'll come and do a close-up of how I position those branches. So I'm going to try show you how I wire this branch that position all the branches for these wires. So hopefully you guys can see that. Alright, it's going to be a little hard when I can't look at it, but what I try and do is create different pads and layers for the tree. So I try and start with the first one. I'm going to try and not keep my hands in the way while I do this. So I try and get this one exactly where I want it to be first. So I want it to be down and maybe a bit more towards the front. And I try and create little kind of clean lines, clean areas here. There isn't enough foliage to really fill that out. So that might be my start of my first one. I do like to try and get the 2 branches closer together and then fan them out like that to give a lot more space so you can build the branch. If that makes sense. So that's not the best one, but it looks good at the moment. Then I'll try and go to this one. Let's see where we want to put. So I probably want to go back. The reason I go back is to shorten the branch and then bring it forward. And position it in here. I think that looks good there, like that. So I'll try and create different lines. So it should be stepping. Yeah, just checking. I don't know. I don't like this to 100%, but it's, you know what I'm trying to get to. Alright. Let's just work on that a bit more. I've got one up here that I'll create another little pad. Try and get my arm out of the way, it's a bit tricky. So I'll try to create one up here, little one up the back. Got that one, and then the main one. Sorry, hopefully you guys can see I haven't totally buggered it up. Oh, there's a nice one in there that I'll just put in there. This could use a bit of fine wiring. You notice how I drop the branch from the base and then pull it up a little. So drop it and then pull up these guys a little bit. Not 100% sure how it's going to look on the camera. This is annoying. I haven't got enough wire here. I didn't wire the small branchlets sometimes because they're too small. So you can see, maybe you can see one pad, second pad, and a third pad. And they're not directly in line with each other. They just slightly overlap each time. One at the back, one little one in the front here. Let me have a look. Yeah, I think that looks quite nice. I don't know if you guys can see the different layers that I've just created. Pretty easy, just manipulate with your hands. If you've got enough wire on the tree, you can get it pretty right. Yeah, and that's that one done. Now I'm going to work my way up to the rest. I'm going to see how I go with this branch and further up, and I'll come back. Okay, so I have completed wiring this branch, and I've created a couple of pads in there, brought it more to the front to fill in this area here. So you can see there's a pad there, a little pad there, pad up there, pad here. So maybe 4 pads, slightly different to each other. There's one branch just above it I brought in and made this area here, filled in this spot here. Now the good thing was this branch here is a bifurcation. It goes in 2 different directions. Previously, this back branch was around here, and it would have made the hole look very wrong, or this branch come out here too much. So I've been able to push it around to the back slightly and put it in here, just to see. You should be just able to see the profile around there when you look at it from front on. It's not jutting out too much, it's just coming back in and back around. And that possibly gives us the depth we need around here to eliminate maybe a branch that is bothering me, that in this area where there's 3 in this one spot. Possibly I could eliminate one and then drop some of the others. So I'm going to see what happens with that. I'm going to work on the other branches to see if I can fill that gap in if I remove that branch. It's quite a substantial branch, so I'm just going to be very, very careful and wary before I chop anything off. Now I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to work on these branches and then maybe go around to the back, and then I'm going to come back and look at what we can do with this back branch here. Maybe we can eliminate it, or maybe there's some others to look at. So I'm going to keep working. I'm going to do this area, and then we'll see what it looks like. Alright, so another quick update. I thought I'll grab the camera and go in for a close-up of the area that I need to make a decision on, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. It's towards the back, and if I'm coming in, walking in, and I'm going to show you this area here. See how there's 1, 2, 3 in one spot, but it's this back branch that's going to be, it's starting to get all, once I actually wired some of these branches, this one into place to fill in that gap, I've wired this one around. It's making this branch here redundant. So it's a big branch, but I was telling you guys how it's still got too many. It's still got one too many, but I can't do anything about it right now, because if I take one of those out, there'd be a huge gap, and I can't do that right now. Can't do it to this tree, but I can at least eliminate this branch, and that's the plan today. If I come back, you can see it's kind of in the back and it's hidden anyway, and there's enough branching around to fill in that gap anyway. Even if and it's probably a good idea. I need to remove it anyway. So I'm going to do that now. So I'll reset the camera. So I'm going to leave the stub as well. I'm going to leave the stub maybe about that long, just so it can die back. Coming off, and I'll show you how big the branch is. So I've had to take that off the tree. It needed it. I think it needed it. And you don't even miss it, to be honest. It actually makes it more, allows a bit of air in there as well. That allows a bit of space. So that goes in the pile. Now I can wire this top half of the tree, the top end, the top apex of the tree. Bring everything quite down. There's pretty good branching everywhere in this area, so I just want to fix all that, but wire it all down, and then we should be good. So really the only problem area left is this 2 branches here, but you can see this is this bit and this is this bit. So very hard to eliminate anything right now, because if I take this out, there'll be a huge gap in here. Take that out, missing the whole right side there. So it is what it is, and I just got to live with that for now. Hopefully won't swap too much in that spot, because we eliminate the other one. Maybe that will help for now. But yeah, there you go. Alright, be back for the final product. Alright, so one thing I noticed when I was wiring the top, is I'll come in and show you as well, is this branch in here. It's actually quite long and it's got 2 branches at the end. Now when you look at it, look back, it's not really required because we're going to be able to maneuver this branch into here, bring this branch down and bring this branch around, and it'll fill in this gap. And this actually from afar looks quite weird in that spot. Plus, same problem. We're 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So let's get rid of this guy. So I'll be taking that one out and then wiring up these ones to fill in that gap. So let's see what it looks like. So again, I don't think you'll even notice it when it's gone. It's probably it's this one here. So let's come in. I'm just going to leave a small stub to let it die back, and I think it's going to look a lot better. So I'm just going to wire these guys around. This guy's a smaller guy, and it should fix it up nicely. I think that's a huge improvement. Plus that removal of that back branch, that heavy one, it's made more space, made more light, and I think you can see the tree a lot better as well. And overall, it's a better result, I think. So I'll just keep going here and wiring up. I'll wire the remaining apex and show you the result. Okay, right, so I have completed all the work I wanted to do on the tree. Rewired it, repositioned all the branching. Hopefully you can see all the nice lines in the video, really clean lines underneath, the pads and so on. And we did remove some branches, which is really good. What I also noticed at this time of year when you remove branches, they don't bleed. Like, you know how pines can really bleed in spring and really sappy. It's really good. So I think that's why this time of the year is really good to work on pines. There really is. We've eliminated a couple of bad branches, which is great. Probably some things that will have to improve. This branch is probably the one that I need to really focus on and try and improve that. I want it to come out a bit more. I think it needs to come out around here. So I'll be trying to encourage that as much as possible. I had to move a couple of branches around a bit to the side. This one's a bit heavy and I moved it around, but most of the things haven't changed since you've seen it. I think the needles are starting to get more even. They're pretty even all the way through the tree now after we needle plucked and butt selected, so it's good. So hopefully more time, a couple more years, it'll be more unified and the same kind of length needles in the tree throughout the tree. So I think it's a bit more balanced now. I like it. It's nice and tall as well, but it's really got nice movement, nice interest. Maybe next year we'll look at cleaning up all those gins, but I'm letting the gins naturally get old and get a natural appearance to them. So, and at the moment they're mainly used as for my guy wires to tie down branches. But yeah, it's come along really well. The top's really nicely thinned out as well. They're only smaller branches at the top. There's one big heavy one a little bit here, but we can live with that for now. That's not too bad, but the rest are nice and small, and just working through and working that, just a bit more of an apex needs to be developed towards the back of the tree. So I'll just give you a quick spin, maybe show the tree from different angles. So the back's been, that big one we took out of here, it doesn't need it. And back to the front. So all in all, I think it came up really nicely. It's a really nice tree now. But yeah, well, it should only get better in time. So hope you guys enjoyed that video, and probably a long one. I'll have to check how long it is, but thanks for watching, and see you guys soon.